Congratulations, season six coming up of the food that built America. And I've become kind of a Cliff Clavin when people talk about food because I watch your show. I go, oh, by the way.
Albania, absolutely.
And this season is just absolutely mind-boggling. I lived before they invented the chips, and I didn't realize it that they're kind of a new thing, and as far as the human food experience goes.
Of course, of course. I mean, I think even going further, right? Not only are they new, their first flavors were taco and nacho cheese. And let's just, obviously get past the fact that there is no such thing as nacho cheese. When you go to the cheese counter at your market, there's not like feta, Swiss, and nacho. But the fact that this company that no one believed in has success, that's amazing enough. Their flavors are not taco and nacho. Okay, amazing. Let's keep it pushing. The idea to even think to launch Cool Ranch Doritos is so nuts because ranch dressing was so niche. People forget that there was an actual Hidden Valley Ranch, that one guy, a former plumber, and his wife bought like kind of like a dude ranch thing near Santa Barbara called Sweetwater Ranch. They called it Hidden Valley. And because of the high heat, that buttermilk was a more regular like substrate used in salad dressings. But the idea that this one dressing made by this one guy at this one place has now become, I mean, there's Cool Ranch tacos, there's ranch dip for zucchini things and stuff like this. I mean, it's only called ranch because this guy made it on a ranch. It's a former plumber made this thing on a ranch. And now we're like, if I just said, oh, it's a ranch flavored churro, you'd know the flavor immediately. And it's that stuff blows me away.
Well, isn't that the thing with food, though? I mean, here we go to the, Toll House, and all of a sudden there's a cookie that, and that's what's so interesting about the food that built America is we take for granted the marketing and all of that, but trying to get America to eat corn chips, and salsa.
True.
It's got to be just, it's got to be an episode on Mad Men.
Well, I would love that actually, but I think just also the fact that David Pace played, I believe it was the first Cotton Bowl, played for Tulane, first Rose Bowl, and came from a syrup dynasty in Louisiana. But just he tried this sauce and said, "I like it. I believe other people will like it." And this was like a culture that thought Italian food was too ethnic and spicy. That now they're like, "Whoa, dude, you're putting an onion in there?" And now we're living a day and age where salsa outsells ketchup.
Yeah.
And condiments are an $85 billion global industry. It's
and we're
sort of
fighting over spice. We're fighting over, ghost peppers, and it's just amazing how the palate has changed in America.
and how food does change. Like there's like this sort of symbiotic relationship, the way a war. So we have an episode this season about Asian American innovators. So Cecilia Chang, her son, who sort of ends up partnering with Paul Fleming to create PF Chang.
Yeah.
And you have the Mandarin and Mandaret and these other flavors, these other iconic things. But now ordering orange chicken is like whatever. Going to getting an Auntie Anne's pretzel in an airport, no one thinks about it. Yet Ann Byler had to, and I've been to this location, went to Lancaster, Pennsylvania. She's like, the mall is the way of the future. I want to get into your mall. The guy who runs the mall says, you're ridiculous. You're a female business owner, and no one's going to want the food that they get at a ballpark at a food court. She said, I have the money. I want to get a place. He's like, fine, you could be by the parking lot. And then suddenly, we learn about scent marketing. And she's one of the first. She and Cinnabon, which we cover, she's like, okay. And then she makes these butter bomb, gorgeous, magnificent pretzels,
It's
and then starts getting samples. And so the whole mall smells just like, oh, like butterball love.
yeah.
And it all starts because this one woman refused to take no. And incidentally, that guy that ran the mall bought two franchises
There
barely
you
a year
go.
later.
It's the reason why people go to airports is to eat Annie Ann's.
That's true. What did Jim Gaffigan say about Cinnabon? I know this is true. I was boarding a JetBlue flight. This was a couple of years ago before I started watching My Girlish Figure. And I got, my little Cinnabon carbohydrate ottoman, ran to the thing. I open it up. The whole plane smells like it and stuff. And like Jim Gaffigan said, when I look at a Cinnabon, I always think, I don't know if I want to eat it or sit in it.
It's true. And you have a great episode on coffee, which is dear to my heart. I love coffee, and uh,
Same.
yeah, it's. I just love the history of food, and your show does such a great job. I mean, 6 years doing it. I mean, are you surprised at some of the things that that you stumble
Constantly,
on?
constantly. I think that I'm like equal each season. The two things that always blow me away. So people always say, "Oh, you're just reading it off cue cards," and I think absolutely, I make it very clear, absolutely not. The stories are decided by the producers, and obviously, because of those beautiful cinematic recreations and reenactments that we do, I have to know, well, which story are we telling? Because you could tell the story of Heinz 100 different ways, all accurate, but you can't dramatize the entire life of an individual. Same thing. So for me, I do the research, and then I'm always blown away. There's always something else, and like you said, coffee. I'm a huge coffee junkie. I've been collecting coffees. I keep coffees I've gotten from around the world in airtight containers and stuff. The idea that Mr. Coffee was so groundbreaking and that it almost didn't happen, and that if this entrepreneur who had read that Joe DiMaggio was a big coffee drinker, if he didn't go from Ohio to where DiMaggio was and then say, well, where does DiMaggio like to eat? And basically stalk him, say, let me buy you lunch. DiMaggio says, I have an ulcer. I don't even really drink coffee anymore. And this man believes in himself and DiMaggio so much that within 2 hours, DiMaggio's signing on the bottom line. And to go, wow, we would never have a coffee maker in our home without this one moment of persistence and the Yankee Clipper believing in it.
But the history of food is full of that, with these people that are so tenacious, and they have a taste for something and want to share it, and people are always closed to it until they try it, and that's the beauty of your show.
Well, thank you. I hope everyone really enjoys it. A lot of people work real hard on it, and I love making them. So, cheers. Thank you
Congratulations
so
on
much.
season 6, and come out to Salt Lake.
Yes, yes, indeed. I miss it dearly.
All right, talk to you later.